Most people think they know what McDonald's is. You see the golden arches, you smell the fries, you order a Big Mac, and you assume you are transacting with the world's biggest restaurant chain. You assume their business is food. You assume their profit comes from selling millions of burgers a day. But if you could crack open the private vault of the McDonald's Corporation and look at the blueprints of their financial engine, you would find something shocking. You would realize that McDonald's is not actually a restaurant. It never was. The burgers, the shakes, the fries, they are just the bait. The real business, the one that generates billions of dollars in profit, is something entirely different. It is a business hidden in plain sight, buried under layers of ketchup and mustard. To understand the truth, we have to go back to a moment of absolute desperation in the 1,950 seconds. Picture Ray Kroc. He is the man who is famously credited with building McDonald's. But in the mid-1,950 seconds, he was drowning. He had struck a deal with the McDonald brothers to franchise their speedy service system across America. On the surface, it looked like a success. People were lining up around the block. The burgers were selling. The brand was exploding. But Ray Kroc was broke. His bank account was empty. The problem was the contract he signed with the brothers. He was earning a tiny percentage of the gross sales from every franchise, about 1.9%, and he had to give nearly half of that back to the McDonald brothers. After paying his own overhead, legal fees, and travel costs, he was making almost nothing. He was the head of a growing empire, but he couldn't afford his own salary. He was desperate. He was taking out loans just to stay afloat. The banks were laughing at him because the restaurant business is notoriously risky. Margins are razor thin. One bad month, one recession, and a restaurant closes. Ray Kroc was selling a product that cost 15 cents. You cannot build an empire on 15 cents if you don't own the system. Enter Harry Sonneborn. This is the man who changed history. The man whose name you rarely hear. Sonneborn was a financial genius who looked at Ray Kroc's books and saw the problem immediately. He sat Ray down and told him the cold, hard truth. He said, "Ray, you don't know what business you're in. You're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business." This was the key that unlocked the vault. Sonneborn realized that trying to make money by collecting a tiny royalty on burgers was a losing game. The franchisee was the one taking the risk, buying the equipment, and keeping the profit. Ray had no leverage. So Sonneborn proposed a radical shift. He said, "Forget the food, buy the land." Here is how the new model worked. The model that turned McDonald's into a financial fortress. Instead of just selling a license to a franchisee, the McDonald's Corporation would lease the land and the building. They would go out, find a prime location on a busy corner, and buy it on a mortgage. Then, they would turn around and lease that property to the franchisee. But here is the trick. The rent they charged the franchisee was calculated to be significantly higher than the mortgage payment Ray was paying to the bank. The franchisee was legally obligated to pay this rent, regardless of how many burgers they sold. Suddenly, Ray Kroc wasn't relying on the sale of a 15-cent burger to pay his bills. He was a landlord collecting guaranteed rent. And it gets better. The lease agreement stated that, as the sales of the restaurant went up, the rent went up too. But the cost of the land Ray's mortgage stayed the same. This changed everything. The burgers became the mechanism to pay the rent. The franchisee was effectively working to pay off Ray Kroc's mortgage. Over the course of 20 years, the franchisee would pay for the land entirely. And at the end of the lease, McDonald's Corporation would own a piece of prime real estate debt-free. They weren't selling food. They were using food to fund the acquisition of the most valuable street corners in America. Ray Kroc realized that the franchisee was the customer, not the person eating the burger. The product Ray was selling was the lease. The golden arches were just the signage for a real estate portfolio. Today, if you look at the company's balance sheet, this strategy is more aggressive than ever. McDonald's is one of the largest real estate owners in the world. They own billions of dollars worth of property. When you drive past a McDonald's, do not look at it as a fast food joint. Look at it as a bank vault sitting on a corner lot. The company owns the land and the building for the vast majority of its locations. A franchisee pays a hefty startup fee. They pay for all the equipment, and then they pay a monthly service fee. But the biggest check they write every month is the rent. In many cases, the rent McDonald's charges its franchisees is double or triple what it would cost to lease a similar space elsewhere. Why do franchisees agree to this? Because the system works. The brand is so powerful that they will pay a premium for the location. But this model creates a fascinating dynamic. It insulates the corporation from the risks of selling food. If the price of beef goes up, the franchisee's margin shrinks, not the corporation's. If the minimum wage goes up, the franchisee pays it, not the corporation. The corporation collects the rent check no matter what. This is why McDonald's stock is considered a safe haven by investors. It behaves less like a volatile retail stock and more like a steady real estate investment trust. They have insulated themselves from the chaos of the kitchen. There is another layer to this business fault. It is about control. Because McDonald's is the landlord, they have ultimate power over the franchisee. If a franchisee doesn't follow the rules, if they don't clean the bathrooms, if they don't serve the fries hot, they aren't just violating a franchise agreement. They are violating their lease. McDonald's can evict them. This gave Ray Kroc the teeth he needed to enforce the strict standards of quality and uniformity that made the brand famous. Without owning the land, he was just a guy with a contract. With the land, he was the king. So, when you analyze the revenue of McDonald's corporate today, a massive chunk of it comes from rent. They are a property company that requires its tenants to sell hamburgers to pay the lease. This is the secret that Harry Sonneborn whispered to Ray Kroc in the 1,950 seconds. It is the reason they survived when so many other burger chains failed. Other chains were focused on making better food. McDonald's was focused on buying better land. They targeted intersections with traffic lights, corners near schools and churches, spots where cars naturally slowed down. They weren't hunting for hungry people. They were hunting for high-value dirt. This brings us to the modern reality. McDonald's is a $190 billion empire, but its foundation isn't the Big Mac sauce. It's the dirt underneath the building. They are the grandmasters of a game that everyone else is just playing, while other businesses are fighting for pennies on a product. McDonald's is sitting on a mountain of appreciating assets. Every time a city grows, the land McDonald's owns becomes more valuable. They are playing the long game. The burger is temporary. The real estate is forever. So, the next time you walk into a McDonald's, look around. You aren't standing in a restaurant. You are standing in a real estate investment vehicle. The kitchen is just the engine room. The cashier is just the toll collector. And you aren't just a customer feeding your hunger. You are the final piece of a financial puzzle designed 70 years ago to pay off a mortgage that doesn't exist anymore. You are contributing to the biggest real estate portfolio on the planet. That is the true business fault of McDonald's. It was never about the food. It was always about the land. Don't forget to like this video. Give your suggestions in comments and subscribe our channel for more business-related stories.